Okay, so we have seen what is our relativistic energy, what is relativistic mass, what is relationship between relativistic energy and mass, as well as we have defined relativistic momentum. So we have basically two very nice information. One information is relativistic energy, which is also identified as total energy, and this value is equal to obviously mc square, and that can be written as m naught c square root under 1 minus v square upon c square, where m naught is rest mass of a particle. M naught is rest mass. Okay. Now we have momentum, and this momentum, I am just talking about magnitude. So this momentum is nothing but mv, and we have m naught v 1 root under 1 minus v square upon c square, where v is nothing but the speed of particle. So when I am talking about the speed of particle, I am just talking about magnitude of a particle. And obviously we are talking about that what will be relationship between observer and a particle whose rest mass is m naught. If I am talking about relationship between observer and the particle, that means I am just talking about what will be relative speed between particle and observer. And once we have these two things, we can easily write energy in term of momentum, which was your homework in last class. And I think most of you have done this thing. So what we have, a very nice expression, that is E square is equal to P square C square plus M naught square C4. So this is one of the very important information we have. Now, so this information is a absolutely mind-blowing information. There is relationship between energy and momentum. Rest mass is there. Now, what is this particular E? What is this E? This E is nothing but total energy of a particle. So this E is total energy. And obviously, this E square is total energy square of a particle. And what is this m naught c to the power m naught square c to the power 4? This is nothing but m naught c square, and this is basically rest mass energy of particle, है ना? Rest mass energy of particle. Now, so we identify these two physical quantity. Now, what will be value P into C? What will be this value P into C? Dhruvi, can you please tell me what will be this value? क्या है ये?
Sir,
हाँ?
sir,
Yes.
momentum into
Yes. What is this? Momentum into speed of light. Yes. This is nothing but momentum into speed of light. Some people are confused that this is nothing but something like kinetic energy, which is completely wrong. So don't think this is kinetic energy. Okay. Why? Because we have total energy of a particle that is equal to kinetic energy plus m naught c square. So this is definition of kinetic energy. When you will do the whole square on both sides, so this thing is E square, then you will get T square plus 2T m naught c square plus you have m naught square c4. So now if we are comparing these two things, if we are going to compare these two things, then this T square plus 2T m naught c square is equivalent to P square C square. So this is absolutely not a kinetic energy square. So don't be confused that it is kinetic energy square, because it is my experience that whenever I ask the people what is this P into C, they are just saying, okay, this is kinetic energy, which is absolutely wrong. So this is not kinetic energy. This is something momentum into speed of light. And obviously it has dimension of energy. It has dimension of energy. Now let's try to see one beautiful concept behind that, and we can give a wonderful conclusion here. Suppose I have this PC along vertical direction or vertical axis, and we have rest mass of particle m naught square or m naught c square along horizontal thing. Suppose this is value of PC, this is value of m naught c square. Can I claim this particular thing is nothing but your total energy of a particle according to Pythagoras law? Is that it is following Pythagoras law? Yes, absolutely. It is following Pythagoras law, because this PC square plus m naught c square whole square is equal to E square. So you are just following this Pythagoras law. Now, just try to use this particular thing to understand what is meaning of massless particle and what will happen when your momentum is very less. Now, if I will reduce the momentum of a particle, I will just going to reduce the momentum of a particle, and I just tell that momentum tends to 0, then can I say that total energy, if I will say that PC tends to 0, then can I claim that my total energy is equivalent to m naught c square? Hoga na, everyone? So just it is going downward, yes, and E's will be just lying along m naught c square. Okay, this is acceptable. Don't worry. Obviously, if momentum is 0, particle is not moving, then what we can say? We can say that, okay, I am just approaching towards rest mass energy, and the total energy is nothing but equivalent to rest mass energy. I can easily appreciate it. But now look at the thing into another way. What will happen when I am just going to reduce the mass of a particle? I am just going to reduce the mass of a particle, and if I will take rest mass of a particle, which is 0, because C cannot be equal to 0. If I will take rest mass of a particle is equal to 0, then my total energy is equivalent to P into C. Isn't it? And we have a concept of massless particle, and which has momentum. Isn't it? We can have concept of massless particle which has momentum. And now look at this thing. Your rest mass of a particle is 0, and its energy is nothing but P into C, or in another way, you can say that momentum is nothing but energy by C. And this particular concept and this beautiful relation will give us to privilege that we can define the particle whose rest mass is 0, and this particle is identified as basically photon. This particle is identified as photon whose rest mass is 0 and which is moving with the speed of light. So only one particle which is moving with the speed of light is the massless particle, and we can claim this is nothing but photon. Then from where you are getting this momentum? In general, we are saying that momentum is basically m into v. But this is for the particle who has some mass. But for the photon, the momentum is nothing but E upon C. And we know that for the photon, the energy is dependent on the frequency of a particle. So yes, we can define a massless particle, and that massless particle has momentum. In spite of that, it has zero mass. And even if it is zero mass, I have momentum, which will be E upon C, because my energy here will be defined as h nu, or can be function of lambda. So this is all about definition of photon or massless particle. That means if particle is massless, it will move with the speed of light. Vice versa, if anything which is moving with the speed of light, that can be identified as massless particle. So जब भी आपको problems में, whenever you will get some problem and where you will have a massless particle, then what will happen? Then you will always assume that it is moving with the speed of light. Or in another way, if particle is moving with the speed of light, you will always assume that the particle is massless. Maybe sometime people are not saying that. Whenever people are saying that particle is massless, then you can use that they are just behaving like photon. So you have to always keep in mind that how we can define photon and how we can define the momentum and energy of photon. So this is all about photon and massless particle. So this information is very important, and this is very efficient information. This is very efficient information. Why? Because whenever you are using the conservation of energy or conservation of momentum in a lot of experiments, in lot of theory, then you can write energy in term of momentum in a very nice way, or you can write momentum as a function of energy in a very nice way, and you can easily reduce the variables. We will just do some problem of the collision and all some different type of problem, collision and this is scattering type problem, where we are just going to use this sort of expression. So if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. Are you people comfortable up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's try to do some problem, because unless until you are not going to encounter different type of problem, the concept will be not very much clear. Okay. Okay. So first we will do some routine type problem. Okay. Then we will go for some collision problem. So let's see how we are going to approach this one. So, okay, a particle has momentum, let's say 3/4 m0 c, where m0 is rest mass of particle, nothing but rest mass. So question number 1, find the total energy. Second, find the kinetic energy. And third, you can find the speed of a particle also. Okay, speed of particle. Speed of particle. This is very simple. So particle has momentum 3/4 m0 c. So obviously we can use this expression. This is just a routine problem to understand the formula. E square is equal to p square c square plus m0 square c4. And please mind it, this p square is nothing but px square plus py square plus pz square. So this is just a magnitude. So you can always use this notation. Okay. Obviously, if it is in one dimension, then magnitude and direction can be same thing. You have only plus or minus, but square is there, so there is not any problem. Obviously, what will be your E square? E square is equal to, you can have 9 upon 16 m naught square C4, and we have m naught square C4, and that value is equal to 25 upon 16. 16, yes, 25 upon 16 m naught square C4. And what will be my energy? My energy is nothing but 5 upon 4, isn't it? In the unit of m naught C square. Yes, energy is 5 upon 4 m naught C square. We have to calculate what is my kinetic energy. So what is your kinetic energy? You have to use this information, E minus m naught C square, and total energy is nothing but 5 upon 4 m naught C square minus m naught C square. What is value?
1/4.
1/4. So that is 1 upon 4 m naught C square. Okay. And last one, we want to calculate the speed. So you can calculate the speed from here also. You can calculate the speed from here also. From anywhere you can easily calculate. I am calculating it here. You can verify as a homework from here. So here you will use which formula? Here you will use m naught v root under 1 minus v square upon c square. But I am just going to use this one because for me this one is little bit more easier. Why? Just look at here. So E is equal to nothing but m naught c square root under 1 minus v square upon c square. That will be 5 upon 4 m naught c square. So this thing will be cancelled. What I will do, I will just take the reverse of this. So when I am, and just we will do the square. After first we will take the reverse and then we will go for a square of this. Then what will happen? We have 1 minus v square upon c square is equal to 16 upon 25. And now look at here, we can easily get the value. So v square upon c square is 1 minus 16 upon 25. What is this value? V upon c is, what is this? That is 25, that is 3 upon 5. Okay, yes, I get it. So this value is equal to 3 upon 5c. So this type of problem can come into your exam, don't worry, because there are some easier problem also asked into exam. Just to know that whether you know the basic relation between two variables or not. Okay, so this is pretty nice. Okay, and this is very efficient. Look at the calculation is very efficient. You have feeling of Pythagoras law, isn't it? You have feeling of Pythagoras law. If one height is 9, another height is 16, then the main hypotenuse is 25. This unit have there. So just try to think the beautiful symmetry you are getting from energy, momentum, and rest mass of a particle, isn't it? Let's go for some practical problem. Some practical problem where we are just going to use conservation of energy, conservation of momentum. And yes, the theory is exactly same, but expression is going to change and calculation is very interesting. So let's go for this. Okay. Any doubt from up to this point? Any doubt? It's a very simple thing. So obviously there is not any doubt. Let's go for this problem. This is one of the mind-blowing problem. Okay. And in your exam, this type of problem will always ask. Okay. So okay. So let's go for this. Now we will use conservation of momentum and conservation of total energy. I am just talking about conservation of total energy. That means the total energy during the collision. So before collision and after collision, the momentum is conserved as well as total energy is also conserved. Okay, so we are just going to use this fact. Okay, and let's see how we are just using this conservation of energy and momentum in relativistic frame or relativistic condition. So we have one very nice problem, that there is a pion, and this type of problem will also ask into your nuclear physics. Okay, so because it is reaction problem, so there is pion, and that will decays into two part, and this is rest. Pion is at rest, that is going to decay into two particle. One is muon and another is neutrino. So these are decays into two particle, muon and neutrino. These are very high energetic particle, very high energetic particle. That means their speed after the decay will be comparable to speed of light. Okay, and this is rest, this is at rest. And what is given, that mass of pion is m pi and mass of muon is mu, this is muon, and mass of neutrino is m nu. So these are given. So this is only fact, and this is rest mass. Okay, so this is rest mass. The rest mass of pion, rest mass of muon, and rest mass of neutrino is given. What I have to calculate? I have to calculate the energy of muon and energy of neutrino. I have to calculate energy of muon and neutrino. And you should always take this thing very seriously, that you have to give the answer only by using this variable, that is given variable, and this variable is m pi, m mu, and m nu. So you have to always keep in mind that maybe you can use some buffer variable that should be introduced by you to solve the problem, but finally you have to remove all this thing and you have to give the answer only in term of m pi, m mu, and m nu. This is a very important thing. So why calculation is very important. So let's try to go for this problem. Obviously, we have to use conservation of momentum and then conservation of energy. So first you have to use conservation of momentum, and then you have to go for conservation of energy. Because once you are going to use conservation of momentum, from there you will reduce some variables. Okay, you can reduce some variable, and finally there are only those variable which are useful to you. And always keep in mind that number of unknown variable and number of equation must be same. Then only you can solve for a unique solution. Otherwise it will be very complicated. So you have to always keep in mind what will be number of variable, what will be number of non-variable, and what are the number of unknown variable, and how many equation you are trying to make. So let's try to do this problem. So obviously, what will be momentum of pion before decay? 0, because it is at rest. It is at rest. So momentum of pion before decay is 0. Okay. And this will be equal to, and what will be momentum of whole system after decay?
Zero.
If I am talking about system, that means I am talking about muon and neutrino together. Okay. So momentum of whole system will be also what? 0, isn't it? Because initial momentum must be equal to final momentum. So the momentum of whole system is 0. That means the momentum of muon and momentum of neutrino should be in opposite direction with same magnitude. then only you can claim that momentum of whole system after the this decay is equal to 0. After the decay is 0, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So can I write this thing is P mu plus P nu? Mu is the momentum of muon. P mu is the momentum of muon. P nu is the momentum of neutrino. And hence momentum is vector quantity. So I can use this thing. That means I can claim momentum of muon must be equal to minus momentum of neutrino. Yes. What is meaning of that? After decay, if muon will move into this direction, then neutrino have to move just in opposite direction with the same magnitude. With the same magnitude. Okay. So this is the condition. Now, can I claim here that momentum of muon, the magnitude of momentum of muon, the magnitude of momentum of neutrino must be equal to some value P. So what will happen? From the conservation of momentum, we can reduce one variable. Initially, we have started with the two variable. Hence, momentum is conserved. So we have one condition, one equation, and that will give us that magnitude of both the particle, magnitude of momentum of both the particle is equal to P. So this is my first expression. Let's go for conservation of energy. So when we are going for conservation of energy, then energy of pion must be equal to energy of muon plus energy of neutrino. And here I am just talking about relativistic energy of pion, relativistic energy of muon, and relativistic energy of neutrino. This is most important thing. So what will be relativistic energy of pion? M pi c square, isn't it? What will be relativistic? Because it is rest, so momentum is 0. So only you have rest mass energy. So what will be relativistic energy of muon? That will be P mu square c square plus M mu square c4 plus root under P nu square c square M nu square c4. And yes, we have this information that magnitude of muon, magnitude of momentum of muon and magnitude of momentum of neutrino is equal to P. So I can put this value as P square C square plus M mu square C4. And here we can also write P square C square plus M nu square C4. And here we have M pi C square. Now, this is a final expression. If somehow I will get the value of momentum P, then obviously it is, we are going to solve it, isn't it? Because this is unknown thing introduced by S. So we have to remove this particular momentum in a calculation, and I have to give the answer only as a function of M pi, M mu, and M nu. How you will solve it? How you will solve it? So obviously the logical answer will be that you will take one root here, take the square, then this root will gone, but thing will be there. You will get another one root, isn't it? In 2ab fact, suppose you are just taking here, you are doing the square, then M pi square c4 and this term, and then cross term will be there, and you have another root is there. So what you will do? You will do again one square, and it will become very clumsy. It will become very clumsy. So in spite of that, you know all the concept very nicely. In spite of that, you know all the concept very nicely. It is very difficult to solve this problem if you are going in this way. Isn't it? Can you have feeling of this type? हाँ? सोच पा रहे हो मैं जो कह रहा हूं?
Yes, sir.
है ना? So this is very
Yes,
dangerous
sir.
thing. How you will approach it? So obviously we have to keep in mind that this two thing is not a favorable variable for me. We have to remove these two variable. Then we have to work in another way. So let's try to go for doing this problem in different way. So you have to use this method. Okay. Now, can I write E mu square is equal to P square C square plus M mu square C4? I can write. Can I write separately E nu square is equal to P square C square plus M nu square C4 separately? Now, these two are non-variable. Yes, these two are non-variable, and I have to calculate E mu and E nu. So this will be remain into the calculation. I have to remove these two things, isn't it? I have to remove these two things. और mainly P, how you will remove it? कैसे remove करोगे?
Minus.
You will just subtract it. You will just subtract it, and always remember this process. Okay, so this will be minus, this will be minus, this will be minus. So what you are doing very smart calculation. So this two thing is going to remove from here. So let's go for okay. So let's go for E mu square minus E nu square is equal to M mu square minus M nu square into C to the power 4. And this thing I can write A square minus B square form, and that will be E mu plus E nu into E mu minus E nu, isn't it? And this value is equal to M mu square minus M nu square C4. And can you please tell me what will be E mu plus E nu?
M pi C square.
E pi.
That will be M pi C square. So this value is M pi C square. So I can get the value E mu minus E nu, and that value is M mu square minus M nu square by M pi C square, and C square is cancelled, and we are getting this one. Okay. So this is my one expression, and I can use another expression. And that expression is, obviously we need two equation, isn't it? So this is my first equation. The second equation is, obviously we have used this thing. So this value is basically E mu plus E nu, and that value is M pi C square. So we have equation number 1, we have equation number 2. How many unknown variable? 2 unknown variable, E mu and E nu. And how many equation? We have 2 equation. So yes, we can solve it very efficiently. हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, इसे बहुत ही efficiently solve कर सकते हैं. So how we will solve it? Just we will add it. So when you will add it, then you will get E mu is equal to M pi square plus M mu square minus M nu square c square upon 2m pi. And similarly, you can get E nu, then obviously from symmetry, this will be minus, this will be plus. So you will get m pi square minus m mu square plus m nu square, and that value is c square by 2m pi. So you can see, this is very interesting. You can get these two value in a very nice form. है ना? We can get these two value, isn't it? और अगर आपको ये मेथड नहीं समझ में नहीं याद रहेगा, and if you are going into the direct method, you will always start problem in a very nice way, and then finally there is a huge mess. Just try to get p from that equation, which is 2 root equation, and then try to find e mu and e nu. You will get it is a huge mess. So you have to remember how we can calculate the thing and how we can approach the problem. But best thing is that, yes, concept is very simple. First, we have to use conservation of momentum. Then we have to use conservation of energy. And we have to always keep in mind that number of variable must be equal to number of equation. Then only solve the problem in a very complete way. Okay, so this is one of the beautiful problem. Obviously it's a lengthy one, and we will do some more problem. कुछ और पूछना है? Any doubt? So I am just giving you one homework. I will do this problem into next class, है ना? Because I think you have one seminar also. So you should join that thing. This is very important. So I am just giving you homework so that you can easily join that. Okay. Same problem, but I am just changing one thing, and you will see how all calculation can be done. Okay. Again, you have pion. This is at rest. Then it will convert it or decays into muon plus neutrino. Rest mass of pion is m pi. Rest mass of muon is m nu, and neutrino is massless. Neutrino is massless. Okay, this is massless. So what you have to do? You have to calculate question number 1, E mu, E nu. You can calculate in the same manner as we have calculated there, or you can put the m nu is equal to 0 and you will get the answer also. But I will suggest you that you should go step by step. But second question is very interesting. You have to calculate p mu and p nu, and third is you have to calculate v nu and v mu and v nu. Okay, so just try to do this thing. By the way, what will be v nu without calculation? C.
C.
Why it is C? Because
Massless.
this is massless, then it have to move with the speed of light. So this value is equal to C. Okay, so just try to enjoy this problem. In every, after 1 or 2 year, every year they are asking this question, every year in some form. Sometime they will ask energy, sometime they will ask momentum, sometime they will ask velocity or speed or velocity. So you can just calculate this thing. Is that this will be C also? V mu?
No, sir.
No,
No,
never.
sir.
It has some
No,
mass.
sir.
So if it has some mass, it cannot be equal to C, because it is in our postulates, it is in our assumption that if any materialistic particle cannot move with the speed of light, hence it is not materialistic, because rest mass is 0, then only it can move with the speed of light. So this is very interesting, isn't it? So just try to do this thing. Send me as a homework, but I will do this problem in the next class. And we have 3-4 very beautiful problem. We will also try to do the problem of collision in 2 dimension in a relativistic form. We will also try to do the sum problem based on Compton effect that can be also given by the relativistic thing. So it's a very interesting, है ना? So just आज के लिए इतना ही, ठीक है? So